Well, welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to have you here on this beautiful Thursday. My name is Colleen Pardinas. I am the Philanthropic Services Officer here at your Ventura County Community Foundation. Today, we have a great lunch and learn set up all about the Ventura County Neighbor Support Fund. I've hope everyone has heard about the fund and some of the efforts that we've been making, and hopefully we can provide you with a really nice update on what's been happening. For those that it might be new to, the Ventura County Neighbor Support Fund is a united community-wide effort to support local families and small businesses experiencing sudden hardship and disruption. It offers a coordinated and trusted way for residents to step up and support one another, working with respected community-based organizations. The fund delivers immediate and essential relief, including food, transportation, housing assistance, and other urgent needs. The broad coalition behind the fund includes civic business, nonprofit, education, and faith-based leaders from across Ventura County. Together, they aim to address both immediate needs and the broader ripple effects impacting families, students, and local businesses. Lauren's going to drop the website, I believe, into the chat, which will have some more information about it. Since the fund was established around about a year ago, almost a year ago now, the coalition has awarded over $1 million as of March. We are continuing to fundraise for this efforts. We've done 6 rounds of funding so far. Many of those grantees are on the call with us today, including Community Action of Ventura County, Conejo Valley Senior Concerns, Food Share of Ventura County, one of our speakers, Help of Ojai, and along with our other speaker, Rescue Mission Alliance, which you'll hear from both of them. Lucho, Dr. Gabino's on the call, House Farm Workers, Nate's Place, People's Self-Help Housing, Safe Passage Youth Foundation, the Samaritan Center, United Parents, and I saw Food Forward on here pop up as well. So to our grantees, thank you for doing this important work. We're happy to continue to fundraise for your efforts. As of right now, our application is closed on our website, as all the dollars raised to date have been awarded. But like I said, we will continue to fundraise for these efforts. I also want to mention on our coalition, we have 33 coalition members. Some of those members on the call are the City of Thousand Oaks, County of Ventura, and the Ventura County Office of Education. So thank you so much for those partners really being the champions behind this efforts. So with that, we want to jump in to hearing from our wonderful grantees. We're going to start with the Help of Ojai, Jane Walter. She is the Executive Director of Help of Ojai, the Ojai Valley's primary social service agency since 1968. She holds a master's in nonprofit management from the University of Houston downtown, and her and the path at Help of Ojai reflects a deep commitment to this community. She's joined as a case manager in 2017, became co-executive director in 2022, and stepped into the sole executive leadership last summer. Across nearly a decade with the organization, Jane has led with a clear conviction that meeting our neighbors' basic needs is the foundation of a community that takes care of its own. And what a wonderful way to talk about the Neighbor Support Fund. So Jane, thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy to hear and learn about the Help of Ojai.
Thank you, Colleen. And thank you to you and VCCF for inviting us to be a part of this. I've attended a lot of the lunch and learns, but I've never presented in one. So bear with me as we go through this, everyone. But again, really grateful to be here. Colleen kind of hinted on some of the pieces about Help of Ojai, but we were founded in the late 60s, the late 1960s. Incorporated as a nonprofit in 1974. You're welcome to go to the next slide, Colleen. I'm kind of just scooching around. But so yeah, incorporated in 1974. So for more than 50 years, we've served in the capacity as primary social services agency supporting Ojai's most vulnerable community, which, as you can imagine, over time has evolved. Primarily, we work with older adults, unhoused individuals, families, low-income families, et cetera. And we do this through four to five different programs. I can't see the slides on my end, or I don't know if it's working um, on everyone else's screen.
Here, do you see full screen or do you see presenter?
I see presenter.
Ah, how's that?
Um,
That full screen?
it didn't change for me, but
Cal, if you Cal, if you stop sharing and then enable editing and set as window view and as full screen view instead of window view, that would help.
I will keep chatting though. So at Help of Ojai, we have four primary service areas, which is our community assistance program. That is where all of our case management programming exists. You could skip to the third slide, Colleen, if that works for you. Um, so our community assistance program, which again, that's where our case managers work out of. Our food pantry is through our CAP office, homeless prevention, and then the emergency assistance fund, which I'll talk more about in just a moment. We have our senior nutrition program, which is a congregate lunch for aging adults, as well as meal delivery for homebound seniors in our community. Our transportation program, which offers door-to-door transportation for older adults or disabled folks, activities for seniors and other social programming. And then we have our Second Helpings thrift store, which allows us to sell things at a lower cost for people, but then also a way for people to donate, used items that they no longer want. And I'm speaking really broadly about Help of Ojai because innately this role that we play in our community is what really led us to now offering the support that we're speaking about today, which is our emergency assistance fund. Next slide, please, Bobby. So part of our mission, in addition to supporting vulnerable residents, is also to kind of keep this pulse on what emerging social issues are happening in our community. So since I've worked for the org, the way we've seen that develop and change, Thomas Fire, right? Like we did disaster case management for several years during that time. That's not necessarily part of core programming, right? But that lived under our community assistance program. During COVID, we ran the Great Plates delivery program. We helped folks access vaccines. All of these things being like, yes, our core programs exist always, but when these emerging issues arise, we pivot and we're able to support the community in that sense. So that leads us a little bit. I think when we talk about this program, I always sort of speak about it from the perspective of like a timeline, because I think that that is what really sort of triggered our action in all of this. Next slide, please. So we, of course, just like following social issues, following what was happening in communities. When immigration enforcement really escalated in Los Angeles last summer, there was this like overwhelming sense of urgency of like, we need to be prepared and like, we need to understand that our community is going to be affected by this because this is so close, right? So during that time, we're all watching, we're seeing what's happening. And also, there were Know Your Rights trainings that were happening in the community that we were attending, that we were seeing pop up, that we were seeing our clients and community attending. And then, of course, there were the Glass House Farm raids. And that's when I think this like very strong sense of urgency, at least in the Ojai community, escalated. So for us, a lot of our programming already supplemented and matching what we knew would be community needs. And so this piece at the end of the slide right here, which was learning from partners. So during this time, I, of course, am watching a lot of what's happening, both, well, mostly like on social media, right? And following organizations that I've, admired and followed for a long time and seeing the way that they were working. And we did see like some agencies in Santa Barbara County activating really quickly. And looking at it a bit in terms of like who's most similar to Help of Ojai in terms of the work we're doing to meet basic needs. So during this time, I reached out to several partner agents, well, not partners, similar agencies in separate counties. So speaking with other orgs to just figure out like, how are you doing this? Like I see on your Instagram that you guys are issuing, hundreds of food boxes every week. Like, how are you managing that? And really trying to develop a program on our end that made sense for the Ojai community, but was also really looking at best practices. And so during this time, of course, we're like following our local partners in the county, but also understanding that Ojai Valley is like such a smaller population altogether. But again, like the point I guess that I want to make here is a lot of the support services were things that we've already done historically, right? So things like rental assistance and utility assistance and food distribution. We do that as part of our regular programming, but the really key piece being there is a new fear among our community that requires a new level of action. So next slide, please, Colleen. So this is when an EAF, in terms of our terminology, Emergency Assistance Fund, isn't new to us. It's been something that we've used that terminology in the past. It focuses on different areas. And for this explicitly, EAF supported community members who were being adversely affected by immigration enforcement in our communities, right? And so EAF sort of surfaced during this time. And it really on our end was again just like really narrowing down the scope of the work that we were doing. So any eligible household with urgent basic needs or with urgent basic needs. And again, I think, and I didn't really speak to this so much at the very beginning, our organization only supports individuals who live in the Ojai Valley. So if you live from Casita Springs up into the east end of Ojai, you are eligible for our services. So that's something that's really specific to us, is that there is this component of eligibility that's solely based on like where you live, right? So for us, we launched the program. We collaborated with various agencies to offer Know Your Rights training and used those as opportunities to really share about this program. Again, a lot of community members knew about us, but as EAF evolved and as we were taking on sort of different pieces of all of this work, it was really important to ensure both the community affected knew what we were doing, but also all of the volunteers and community advocates understood also what we could do. And so ensuring that we were engaging with volunteers for various organizations. I also felt this need as an organization thinking about like, how is our space prepared if ICE were to come to our building, right? How are we preparing if our community is targeted, like just based off of where we're located and knowing that like people come to our office to access resources. And we worked with public counsel to offer Know Your Rights training for nonprofits and small businesses in Ojai, which was really great. So we spent a lot of last summer just like really cultivating and building the resources for both our organization and the community. And that's also when, of course, we applied for the VCCF support, which we received in the later bit of the fall. So in the next slide, I can kind of explain a little bit more about what we call the EAF program. So you'll see on the right, or it's the right on my screen, I'm sure it is yours too. We created a really simple flyer, and it was really intentional to kind of keep it big picture of here's what we can help with. So accessing basic needs, emergency rental assistance or utility assistance. And then the new piece in all of this, which felt like a really good fit for us, was helping people with family planning, which if you do intensive case management, especially with unhoused folks, there's this conversation a lot about people being document ready. And so there was this similar overlap of like talking to families and ensuring, do you have a plan if something were to happen to you? Do you have passports? Do you need help accessing those documents? And that's something that we're able to help with through this. And I think what's really unique about the way in which we work is that case managers are trauma informed, right? And so our staff are going to sit with you and kind of look at things from start to finish, not just like, we totally understand that the urgent need right now might be diapers, right? But can we also talk and learn about other things that might be helpful to you and your household as you go through this? And so that's been a really important part in this process for us. And then we can help if, of course, we're looking for eligibility in terms of where you live, but rent, utility assistance, food supplies. I mean, food is the thing that I really wanted to emphasize early on is like, we can help with that. We help with that every day in our office. So if it's a matter of you're uncomfortable leaving your home, we can have our volunteers or staff deliver food to you. If there are really specific things, like if you need formula, or if you need a super specific size of diaper, or if you need other hygiene supplies, if you need dish soap, all of those things, like please let us know and we can help you access that. Medical bills is another piece of kind of the puzzle for us in terms of case management and supporting households. And then expenses related to family planning. So again, like, do you need to buy a copy of your child's birth certificate? Do you need support getting photos for passports, right? And just really helping families build all the pieces should any emergency happen, if someone from the house or from the household is taken, or if people are separated. Does someone in your household know, like, or your family or your network know where to go into your house and access those things? So I'll also add, these are really uncomfortable conversations to have with people, right? And it's a really because it's hard. And I think, like, for us, a lot of our staff are have a really personal connection to this in some way, right? Whether it's our own connection to family members, or if you're a parent, right? And so navigating a lot of this with families is really we do our best to be just so incredibly sensitive in all of this in supporting families. And then in terms of funding, of course, the Neighbor Support Fund through VCCF has been essential to us. And I'll also add, and I think it's really important to acknowledge, we received support immediately, right? Like over the summer, once information kind of trickled out that this was something we were doing, our Rotary supported us, community members fundraised and supported us. And it really allowed us early on to start building like the very essential pieces of this work. So just one like snapshot, I guess I'll say, I'm almost done slide wise. So to date, we've supported 11 households. And as you'll see here, it's like, these are people within our community who have children in our schools and who people know because they see them in town and at work. And I think there's this disconnect sometimes up here of like, it doesn't impact us, right? Like people know, hey, we're good. Like there hasn't been a lot of ICE activity in Ojai, and the real emphasis for us being like, that data doesn't necessarily translate to what community members are experiencing day to day, right? Like these are people who are afraid to leave their homes, who have lost income because they can't go to work. These are families who have been separated. These are people who now have lost access to healthcare because of changes in Medi-Cal, and acknowledging that there is a community here who does need a lot of additional support. We have been really fortunate to build strong relationships with other organizations in both the county as well as our community who have referred people to us. And I'll share just like one anecdote of a household who we started working with last summer. A father, so a family who lives in Ojai, mom, dad, two children. A father was going to his immigration appointment in Camarillo, and he had his eldest child with him, who was still a very small child under the age of 10. And they were detained and sent to Dilley, Texas. I think at this point, we've all heard a lot about what is going on in Dilley. This was last summer, so a lot of what is happening was sort of not as highly reported. We received a call from Clinicas in Ojai referring the mom to us. We didn't know the household, but the mom reached out to us and let our case manager know that they had been unlawfully detained and were being released from Dilley. So this family from Ojai, California is now in Dilley, Texas, which I'm from Texas, so I had this context when we were going through all of this, but Dilley's middle of nowhere. It's really difficult to get anywhere out of there. You need resources, you need access to transportation. And then of course they needed flights. And this was, we're talking to the mom and trying to get the whole picture. Mom has a newborn, obviously just like an incredibly stressful situation for the whole family. They had lost housing during this time because the other people they were living with did not want the attention that they felt this family who was so at risk was bringing. So a lot of challenges, and thankfully, Clinica has put us in touch with this family. They were reunited. We worked really closely with 805 and DocuFund on this case because, we at the same time were like, we have no idea how this works at this point in terms of people being detained and then released. So they are reunited. Dad, now all these months later, has suffered really significant health issues. I'll just infer that it's likely because of what they were living through when they were in Texas, but it's impacting his ability to work. And then additionally, with the elimination of his Medi-Cal benefits based on the way that that has changed the last few months, hospitalized and doesn't have insurance. So Help of Ojai is working and supporting the family with not only the costs, but like navigating that entire healthcare situation. And we're able to do that because this is work that kind of has already been a part of what we do. And so this is just an example in terms of case management is like a family who came to us last summer will likely be with us and can be with us for a long time until they feel like they don't need us anymore. And then finally, I think sorry, I'm pausing just to kind of like process and think about it, but we really learned so much. And Colleen, if you could go to the last slide, I just want to acknowledge 805 and DocuFund and VC Defensa, who have done so much work for our community in Ojai in a lot of different levels and have absolutely helped us understand scope, but then also connect with families in need. La Casa de la Raza and Carpinteria Children's Project were two of the orgs that very early on I was following and seeing the work that they were doing and learned from them the pieces about family planning, about outreach, the way they were connecting with families, the way they were utilizing volunteers to get their work done, and of course, Public Counsel and Ojai Rotary. And then VCCF, in terms of your support, just accept, so much gratitude for that. And it's just such a relief and such a difficult time to know how supportive VCCF has been of this work, whether not even just us, but all orgs, right? Has been really, really helpful and just like nice as we go through this really difficult time.
Jane, thank you
Thank you.
so much. The Ojai Valley is such a special place, and they are
Yeah.
so lucky to have Help of Ojai as a
Thank
resource
you.
there. I want to open up to the space and see if we had any questions. Yes, I love all the claps, all the hearts. Yes.
And Lourdes, I'm sorry. I know I was chugging through that really quickly, so I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, she'll stop you if you're going too fast.
Okay.
She'll stop
Okay.
you. Okay, we'll jump in and then we can do group questions and feedback together here. Let's see, go back to the challenges of having three screens, I'll tell you. Okay. Let's see. Our next speaker, we're joined from the Rescue Mission Alliance, Todd White. He brings over 30 years of diverse leadership experience to his role as CEO of the Rescue Mission Alliance. He most recently served as president, COO, and CFO of Barna Group, a Christian research organization that provides data on the trends affecting faith and culture for more than 10 years. Prior to his appointment as CEO, Todd was the valued member of the Rescue Mission Alliance's board of directors. Throughout his career, Todd has held senior leadership positions at various organizations, including Gospel Light Publications, CFO and VP of Finance as co-founder and president of AdCheck Inc., a marketing and media company. He's also served as a controller for Employers for Depot, an HR and professional employment organization. Todd earned his bachelor's degree in accounting from CLU and an MBA with an emphasis on strategy and economics from the New York Institute of Technology. Todd has been married to his wife Sharon for 30 years and has two grown children and one grandson. They reside in Ventura. The couple attends Ventura Missionary Church, where Todd also serves on the administrative council. Todd, thank you so much. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much for the invite earlier this week.
Yes, and thank you for the favor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. I was in Boulder on a business trip, and so I had a fun putting this together sort of last minute, but it was really neat. And Jane, I just want to say what an incredible organization, what you do. Ojai's near and dear to my heart. My a lot of family grew up there. My mother-in-law lives up there. She's very active in the community, and I'm just you're what I love. Hey, I love partnerships. Partnerships start with relationships.
Mhm.
So I love what we're kind of doing here, what VCCF does and pulls people together. And and really what I see, what you're doing so incredibly well. You're on the prevention side. You're helping people to stay in their homes, and that's near and dear to our hearts for sure. Obviously, being what we do on this end, so
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can start sharing my screen. I'll try to talk slow. I'm a fast talker. Everyone in my family is kind of a fast talker. See. Does everyone see this blue
It look
screen
it
there?
looks perfect.
So very similar to help. We were established in 1972, so been around for about 54 years. We are now a multi-site, even though we were established in Ventura County and serve Ventura County. We're a multi-site organization from northern LA County all the way up to Santa Maria, where we have multiple men's, women's with children facilities. And we're really excited. Excited is maybe not a great word. Um, what for me, coming from 35 years in the business world, I love to solve problems. And the homeless problem, we have 1,900, I think, at the last pit count here just in Ventura County alone. It's a daunting number, I think, for all of our organizations. But working together, we have so many great partnerships with Food Share and so many other organizations that are active. And again, just appreciate VCCF and supporting not just us, but so many of these other organizations. So, yeah, our mission statement is really three parts to provide refuge, and then we have shelters, we have recovery programs, and then, but sort of the key to us, what is really, really important to us is the restoration part, and the dignity of every single human being, and being able to help them through the process of restoration. If you ever get a chance to come to one of our we do 3 or 4 graduations a year, graduate about 50 or 60 men and women from our programs. I would do it. We call our payday around here. It's where we get to go and hear just unbelievable stories of transformation. People reconnecting with their families, their friends, their kids that they haven't seen in 8 or 10 years. It's a tearjerker, I'll warn you, but it's really good stuff. So yeah, we are sort of we're building an A to Z kind of continuum of care where we have shelters where you can stay as long as 90 days, where we offer basic food and needs through many of our partnerships. And then for those who really are driven to change their trajectory, we offer recovery and healing programs. And then ultimately, they need to have a place to go. So we have some transitional living facilities where they can continue to work on their education. We provide vocational training. And again, ultimately, the goal is to make sure that they're reintegrated into community and they're surrounded by community. And that's really important to us. Yeah, so we definitely feel, and I'm sure you all do, especially those who are involved in serving our neighbors here. There's a kind of an ongoing crisis, and that word can be overused for sure, but it is really a truly you just come to our program, come to our men's program and over in Oxnard, and you'll just see the line for the meals that we serve all day. We do about 6.1 million meals total here in Ventura County. Obviously that's a big number at our local shelter. We have a great kitchen and kitchen staff that create wonderful meals, especially during Thanksgiving and Christmas time. And we love volunteers. Not everyone has to give money, but you can go to our website and sign up as a volunteer. And we love our volunteers. We do have 5 thrift stores. I feel this is an incredibly important part. I saw Jane. Jane has a thrift store up there. That's wonderful. I love people who support their local thrift stores and donations. But we're also serving a community that's maybe not to the homeless level, but they need those affordable goods and services. And again, I've been here 18 months. The stories of generosity every single day continue to just almost shake me to my core. It's incredible, and when I go and meet with a donor and I thank them, they're like, no, thank you. Like, they kind of put it back on us because of their generosity, which I know many of you are. Um, Again, like I mentioned earlier, there's a huge need, especially in the human trafficking and domestic violence space for women, and women, especially with children who are being rescued, who don't have the many options for long-term care. So we are opening Angel House over here in Oxnard, a 60-bed facility that we're really, really excited about. Again, that's barely scratching the need there. Sort of our long-term vision is to build a new campus somewhere with upwards of 200 plus beds. Again, because that need, and working with organizations like Project Safe House to provide places to go. And there's so many great organizations that will relocate people from where they've been saved, rescued to so many great organizations around the country. I know I'm probably going fast. First of all, again, same thing. This relationship, all my relationships here are new, but the relationship at VCCF and Colleen coming and I think I saw Aiden on here coming in and touring Angel House and some of our facilities. Just such a great partnership that we're forming, and we are so grateful for the gifts that we've received so far. And again, being the gifts definitely help us to keep the doors open. And we work very, very hard to house as many as possible. I believe the last number I heard was Rescue Mission houses about 20% of the currently housed homeless unhoused. So we're very thankful for that. You can see the numbers. I don't need to read them there to you, but this is what we did last year, just at our. I believe this might even just be our men's program over in Oxnard. So we're very thankful for VCCF and the Neighbor Support Fund. And if you have any questions, or I think I was going to put the link to our website in the chat here pretty soon, so you can read up more about us. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Todd. Yes, the site visit was absolutely incredible. If you ever have the chance to go visit, the staff you have working was so nice, and the stories they share and the lived experiences going through the programs and sticking with the mission. It's beautiful. So if you ever have the opportunity, definitely take that. I'll let it open up to the group and see if I love all the hearts. Yes. Yes, Christine.
This is a question to either of the speakers. Has there been any pushback from ICE or the government or any federal organization about your efforts to help?
Jane, go ahead. You want to start?
So like not directly, right? Like we're not being served with like documentation or anything. This was though something that we talked at great length with last summer in terms of with our board, and then also in speaking with our staff about how we activate our support in this sense, right? So no, we haven't had any super like, specific or intentional feedback. Ojai has had, I mean, it's interesting, right? It's a tiny community. So you hear, like when I say like you hear, like you really do, right? Like the community really does reach out, or you see people in public who are asking about things or talking about things. And we haven't had any like real direct impact or threat, but we also were really intentional. Like for those who maybe don't speak Spanish, the flyer that we share about our ETH program has like a little blurb on it that says like, please do not share on social media. And the rationale behind that was that we didn't want to get on the radar of like people who maybe shouldn't know about this program or maybe would have or feel a type of way about a program like this. We wanted the community who needed the resources to feel safe in that sense. So I think that while there hasn't been a direct threat to us, we sort of exist and operate knowing that it could be. And so to answer your question, like, no, not directly, but I also will say, like, we have thought about that though the entire time and throughout the entire process.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say similar. We accept anyone and everyone into our shelters, into our programs. But we've worked very hard to have a really great relationship with the police department, the CHP department, the DAs, the cities. We're working with Ventura really well, and we're forming new relationships with the city of Oxnard. But to be honest, they have really left us alone. We've not had any direct impact. I would say during, what was it, July last year, our store traffic dropped significantly. So it did impact us financially in that way, that we saw a pretty significant drop in sales for about 3 months. But yeah, no direct contact. And again, I think we have such a great relationship that I think those relationships do help.
I think you're both incredibly brave, good people. Thank you so much for
That's
everything
so
you're doing.
nice. Thank you.
Very impressive.
It's our teams. I'm sure Jane would say the
Yeah.
same thing. Our teams are absolutely incredible.
Thank you, Christine. That was a great question.
Guys, I just want to say thank you for the work that you both do. And I was curious if you could touch more upon your current needs and how can we support y'all? What's the best way we can support you?
Jane.
Todd, you want to go first?
No, you go first.
I think that right now, I mean, the ongoing need in terms of community and the way that we're supporting most community members right now is through food support. And so that's not, the thing for us, and this is something I'm really grateful for and that I think our org is proud of, is that our food pantry, which is incredibly busy, it's open 2 days a week. And then we also have this entire program where we can deliver food as well, the non-perishables. With the support that we've received, both from VCCF and individual funding, et cetera, it has allowed us to really meet the needs when a family has a specific request, right? So not just like the general food that we're accessing through our food share partners and through, the farmers markets and all of that, but really like if your family has specific needs, we're able to support with that. And so that's just been so nice in terms of having funding to be able to do that. That's not common, right? It's especially like people in our world, that's not always the way it is, right? Like you're kind of shopping from what you've got. So that's been really wonderful. And for us, it's a lot of just like volunteer need. So we do, need the support of trusted and verified people to help us, access and distribute these resources as well. But I would say that, and it's really our primary way that I think community can really support right now. We're seeing, I don't, we don't want to see these numbers go up really high in terms of family we're supporting. Of course, we want everyone to access us and have needs met, right? But you know, most of these households we've been working with them for some time. And so what we just really want to, you know, continue is to be supportive in the ways that we can for an ongoing way, but it's hard to know what that's going to be because that's what's so sort of traumatic about the state that we're in right now is that so many of these families don't know what tomorrow is going to look like for them, right? And especially when you're sort of watching things unfold in other parts of our country, and that risk, right? So even for us, it's been this experience of we also don't know. Like we don't know what could happen tomorrow for you and your family, but here's like let's be prepared. So a lot of it right now, it's not this like urgent outgoing aside from food. Like food is really the way in which we are supporting on an ongoing level.
That's awesome. Yes, we rely heavily on food share here in Ventura County, but we do have a large food bank down in LA, and the generosity again of the group, the people down there. I'll be honest. For us, so we don't currently take government funding. We are in talks with Ventura County, Santa Paula, and Fillmore um, for specific projects. So we absolutely rely very much on people's generosity of funds. So, like I said, our thrift stores do contribute to our program costs, but we absolutely rely on the generosity of individuals, foundations, grants, and yeah, it's something I'm learning to do is to ask to be out there, but we absolutely rely on the generosity of other people to help.
And I just wanted to share too, Catholic Charities, who we originally had joining us on the call. Gabriel had a family emergency, so we do hope to have him on a future Lunch and Learn to share about Catholic Charities and the amazing work they do as well for the community.
Yeah, they're great.
I know we have a few. Oh, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say, I sort of touched upon this when I began, but I just think your guys' way, like VCCF's creation of this fund and the support has been so cool. And like the event that you guys did where we were able to be in the room, like for us, we don't often find ourselves in settings where we're with or around other orgs who aren't necessarily serving Ojai. So it was nice and to be around other folks who are doing this work and even just hearing from the other organizations who spoke at that meeting, kind of what they're experiencing and what they're going through. And I think about it's very different because it's not, I mean, obviously we were dealing with completely different situations, but when you like the way things get activated, for example, when there's like a natural disaster and you have these meetings with other service providers every other week and you're hearing about what they're doing, that doesn't exist for this sort of a situation yet, right? And so I think what you guys have been doing is kind of the closest to that and really building a connection within the community. And I'm really grateful for that. I think that that's been such a comfort of knowing like who are other organizations who are doing this work, right? And that could be a strong resource. And so you guys have really developed that. And I think that that's, you know, we're grateful. And you guys, I'm very thankful that you guys have done this.
Thank you. That was so kind. I know that, that's part of our role with VCCF. We want to bring the community together, especially in times like these.
Can I just
And
say ditto?
yeah. And Candace and her team did such a wonderful job at that event. It was a beautiful day.
It was a team effort. We so appreciate everybody who attended, and of course, all the providers that are on the front lines sharing your stories of impact. I was going to say, my colleague Lauren, if you can maybe drop in the chat. There's also a link for, if you want any updates, we'll certainly share more updates on upcoming information regarding the fund, and hopefully another event that we can update you all about a date.
Yes. I wanted to invite any for any other grantees on the call wanted to say hello or and provide an update. No pressure. I want to put you on the spot.
Hi, I can share a little bit. I'm
Thank you.
Leslie, and I'm actually very new with People Self-Help Housing. I've been here for 5 months only, but I have previous. Yeah, I come from the veterinary industry, and it's just it's as you know, people love their animals, and it's just so much passion. And so when I left, I really wanted to work in nonprofits. And so I spent a year and a half trying to get there. And so I'm here. And so if I don't know if you guys are familiar with People Self-Help Housing, we're in like 4 counties. We started the sweat equity model of, people helping and building their own homes. And then we moved, and that was in the 70s. And then we moved into rental properties. And so my specific department, which is the resource development department, we fundraise for our on-site services that we provide to our rental properties. So that's basically 2 different departments. One is education, and we have something called Camino Scholars. And what it does is provide like an after school program. And this is not just like kids are playing. I've been in the classroom. This is curriculum. These are children that are engaged and excited. And every time I go to a classroom, I'm so impressed with the command that the teacher has and the relationship that they have with these children. And then we have a summer program to keep those kids engaged in their academics and they're not falling by the wayside. I think I saw some statistic of like in 2 months raising their literacy level 2 to 14%, which is just amazing. And then the other side, which is where you guys have come in and helped us, is our supportive housing program. And so that's where we have our social workers. And there is, again, another amazing statistic that I saw recently in a board report where our eviction prevention is 99.6%. And that means we're keeping these people housed. And it's one thing to provide affordable homes. It's another thing to make sure that these people have the things that they need. And so, our social workers, if someone is, not able to meet their rent or something like that, they are out there, sourcing our community to help them to get those funds to keep them housed. And where you guys have come in and helped us out is we're fairly new to the Ventura County space. And we have something called the RA, it's the Resident Assistance Fund. We call it RAF. And that's for those emergency situations. It's, I got a flat tire, now I can't make it to work. Like, how can I, pay this bill that needs to get paid? And all of those kinds of things. And so that's where the RAF comes in. And so you guys are our first grant that we've gotten for Ventura County. And I will tell you, we all celebrated. It was such a big deal. We were so happy and so thankful for your partnership. And we really look forward to it. We're really excited about the Ventura market. I come from Ventura, so it's near and dear to my heart. And so, yeah, so it's just, we're, again, incredibly thankful for your partnership. And I will tell you, 5 months in, I'm still crying at meetings and I meet people and it's the passion. And I see that in this room today. You guys are also passionate about what you do and it's so impactful. Like we can be empathetic to the people that we're helping, but we really have no idea how much we really truly are like saving them and helping them, no, empowering them because they're our partners. That's what I'm trying to get our department to rethink. Is like we're not rescuing these people, we're their partners and we want to help them grow. So just thank you for helping us along with that journey.
Leslie, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, and we're so happy to have you in Ventura County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, I just wanted to thank you for your time today. This has been a wonderful lunch and learn. I always leave with a smile after these calls. I absolutely love them. We've been doing these lunch and learns since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'll tell you, they're one of my favorite things that I get to do. So thank you. I'll let you know we do have another lunch and learn coming up next month. We do them every third Thursday. So June 18th is going to be the next one at noon. And this one is going to be on finding hope together for survivors. This is about foster children and those addressing needs of individuals that have been through sex trafficking situations. So that will be with More Than Conquers, a really cool organization that takes them surfing and gets them outdoors, along with Forever Found, a local organization that serves Ventura County with those individuals as well. So you'll see the invite for those. We're so happy. You can stay on the call for the next 5 minutes if you want to catch up. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much to our speakers, Todd and Jane. And Leslie, I'll include you too. That was great on the spot. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Good job,
Thank you.
Colleen.
Thank you.
Colleen.
Thank you, Christine.